Hi everybody, welcome to STEAM. Today we're using some household items to make a scratch off technique. So you can use these to play games, or you can write a secret message. Anything you want to do with this one. It's just a fun way to maybe reveal something secret. So let me show you what you're going to need for this one, and then we can get started. Okay, so for this you'll just need a piece of paper or cardstock, or anything really works. You can use cardboard, thin cardboard. I just use cardstock because as we paint on it, it'll just hold a little bit better, a little bit more sturdy. You can use regular paper if you want. I cut mine into a quarter sheet of paper because I just wanted to do a small little message or a small little card. But you can do it in a big one if you want, or if you have some extra time to paint. You'll need a Sharpie or some other kind of marker, or even a colored pencil will work, just to write your message on there. You're going to need some clear packing tape. So I have Scotch packing tape on here. As long as it's clear tape, any kind of packing tape will work just fine. You don't necessarily need toothpicks. I'm just going to use them to stir up my mixture. But you could use the back of your paintbrush if you want, because you'll need a paintbrush. I have two because I'm going to make kind of a bigger one, and then this one's just for more details, but just one paintbrush is fine. You'll need some kind of acrylic paint. So I'm using this pink one because I have a lot at my house, but you can use any color for this one, your favorite color or anything you want. And some measuring spoons. So I'm going to use the tablespoon. You don't have to measure, so this is another optional supply. You can just estimate. That's fine too. This one doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm going to use the tablespoon just to make it precise. And then just something to mix in. So you can use a cup, you can use a bowl. You really are not going to need very much of it. So even this is a little bit big. But you can do a cup and just do the bottom of it, whatever you want. Alright, now that we have all the supplies ready, oh, also I just have my little mat just in case I get any paint on anything. So, I have my extra scrap paper down. Our first step to making our solution, I'll call it, is to measure out the paint. So what you want is a ratio of 2 to 1. Oops, I forgot one of my ingredients. I'll get it, but I'll do tablespoons to 1 tablespoon of soap. So that's my ingredient that I forgot. I'll need that soap. Alright, so I almost forgot our second main ingredient. So it's basically just the paint and dish soap. Any kind of dish soap. I just happen to have Ajax and it's orange. Any kind of dish soap works just as well. So with the 2 to 1 ratio, all it is 2 tablespoons of paint to 1 tablespoon of soap. So, or you could do 4 tablespoons of paint to 2 tablespoons of soap. As long as you have that 2 to 1 ratio, then you're fine. But 2 tablespoons of paint should be plenty. So I'm going to start by mixing up my paint, and I'm going to measure out 2 tablespoons worth. Be careful with acrylic because that's permanent. So I'm just going to measure out, I might actually only do 1 tablespoon. That's a lot of paint. I'll just do 1 tablespoon for this. If you guys have a big paper that you're going to cover, or a couple people that are doing it with the same mixture, do 2 tablespoons. But I'm just going to do about 1 tablespoon, which then, if you guys know the 2 to 1 ratio, if I have 1 tablespoon, how much soap will I need? Do you know? So I'm just going to use my toothpick to get out as much paint as I can. And then, if I have 1 tablespoon of paint, I need half a tablespoon of soap. So I'm just going to estimate about half of that. Again, I'm estimating even with my measuring tools. So if it's not quite the right consistency, then you can just add a little bit more of whatever you need. Alright. So, once I have both of my ingredients in there, I'm just going to mix it up with my toothpick. But you could use the end of your paintbrush or the top of your paintbrush, whatever you want to do. We're just going to do that. Mix it all in there. Alright, just get it all mixed up. I got one chunky part. I'll just take that out. It's really just going to be a little bit more liquidy than regular paint. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get a little bit of soap in there, and then you might see some bubbles from that soap. So once you have that mixed in, then we're going to write our message. So I'm going to make mine like just a little hello message. So I'm going to say just, and I'm going to make it more of a card. Wanted to say, dot, dot, dot. And then, so I say, just wanted to say, and then I'm going to draw a big circle, and that's where my secret message is going to be. My secret message is just, hello. So, I made mine a card, so I'll give it to somebody that I want to say hello to. So I just said, just wanted to say hello. And then I did a big circle around my hello because this is what I'm going to cover with my paint, and then somebody's going to be able to scratch it off and see what I wanted to say. So you could write a secret message in there if you wanted, or you could play a game. Maybe it could be a tic-tac-toe game, something like that. Whatever you want to do. But once you have your message written, you want to use your packing tape, and you're going to cover whatever part is going to be secret. So I'm just going to cover my circle, the part that I'm going to paint over that I want to scratch off. So I'm going to pull the tape out, and you might need scissors if you don't have a dispenser like this. So I'm just going to pull the tape out, and I'm going to cover just the part that I want to be scratched off. So I got a little extra tape. So I'll just put that down, a little bit of extra tape. So I decided to do it long. You can cut it perfect so it just is a circle, but I'm just going to make it long because you can't really see it anyway. And I'm going to put it over the edge so it's out of the way. And I only have about half my circle, maybe 3/4 covered, but I want that part covered too. So I'm just going to do it one more time. Let me grab another piece of tape, pull that out. Try not to make it too long this time. And I'm going to cover it again. And I'm going to make sure, I'm going to do it right at the bottom so that you can't really see the line. But I don't really want it to go overlap there, so that's okay. It's got stuck to the base. And that's fine because I'm just going to roll it over the edges and then push it down here. Alright. And I decided not to put tape up here, but you could if you want because it's clear, so you'd still be able to see your message. But I just wanted to make sure I covered at least my circle because I'm going to paint that, and that's where we're going to scratch off my message, okay? So make sure you cover at least what you want to paint and be able to scratch off. So I covered my circle, and now that it's covered and it's ready, I'm going to paint it. So I'm going to do one coat, and you'll probably be able to see my message through the coat. It depends on your color. If you're using black paint, that might be dark enough where you only have to do one coat, but you might have to do several coats anyway, and that's totally fine. I think usually 2 or 3 is pretty expected because you want to make sure they can't see your message, right? Otherwise it's not very much of a secret code. But it's up to you. And you'll just wait for it to dry a little bit, and then you'll be able to scratch it off and do another coat. So first you want to do as many coats as it takes to totally cover up that message. And then You want to let it totally dry before you give it to somebody and let them scratch it off. Maybe you could give them a little coin with it or something so that they can scratch it. Alright, so I ended up doing about 3 coats. They took maybe 5 or 10 minutes to dry between coats, and then I made sure it's totally dry now. So once I'm done, you can decorate it if you want. You can draw some more things on it. It's hard to draw on the tape though, so make sure you add everything you want before you put on the tape if you're going to put it at the bottom. But once you have it all done, you can see that you can't see the message anymore, so it's going to be more secret. So let's scratch it off and see how it looks. So you could give this to a friend or whoever you wanted. Give them maybe a coin or a toothpick, something like that, and then they can scratch it off. So you can just scratch it off like this, and we'll see what the message is. And so it should just scratch right off, nice and easy. And then we'll just put that out of the way. Ta-da! Now we know our little secret message. And it's just a fun way to do a scratch off. Alright, I hope you guys have fun with this one. You can make a game with this. You can do it in a lot of different ways. You can make cards. It'd be a fun way to do secret messages back and forth. Whatever you want to do with this one, let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if you did it, show me in the comments. Thanks for coming. Bye!